Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into a story that gets under your skin, William Golding's Lord of the Flies. It kicks off with what sounds like a kid's adventure, a bunch of schoolboys marooned on a perfect desert island. But it spirals into something much, much darker, and it asks one heck of a question. What are we really when all the rules are gone? Now we're starting at the end for a pretty important reason. This line right here, this is where the story lands. It's an absolute tragedy. So the question is, how did they get here? How did a group of kids on an island paradise end up in this state of complete horror? Let's rewind and watch it all unravel. At the heart of it all are two boys, two totally different ideas of what it means to lead. On one hand, you've got Rolf. He's the poster boy for order, for democracy, for trying to do the right thing. And on the other hand, there's Jack. You can just feel the anger simmering under the surface. He represents something else entirely, that primal instinct, that hunger for power. And the clash between these two? Well, that's what drives this whole story. So let's start at the beginning. It all opens on a surprisingly civilized note. In the middle of a war, a plane evacuating British schoolboys goes down. They find themselves on a gorgeous deserted island. No adults survived. They're completely on their own. You know, at first, it's gotta feel like a dream come true. No grown-ups, no rules, pure freedom. And their first instinct, led by Ralph and the super smart but unpopular Piggy, is to rebuild what they know. They try to set up a little society with meetings, jobs, and the number one priority, get rescued. And their first big move is finding this, the conch shell. And this isn't just some pretty shell. It's everything. It's how they call meetings, it's the rule that says whoever holds it gets to speak, and everyone else has to listen. It's their symbol for democracy, for order, for hope. So, naturally, they need a leader. They hold an election. And even though Jack, the head of the choir, clearly thinks he should be in charge, the boys pick Ralph. He's the one with the conch. He seems calm and responsible. But Ralph, in a pretty smart move, tries to keep the peace. He tells Jack and his choir they can be the hunters. And for a minute, you really think, hey, maybe this is going to work. But that feeling doesn't last long. That civilized foundation they've built is a lot more fragile than they think. And the first cracks are starting to show. It starts with just a whisper. At a meeting, one of the youngest kids, they call him Little Ends, talks about a nightmare he had, a beastie, a kind of snake thing he saw in the dark. Ralph immediately tries to shut it down, saying there's no such thing, but it's too late. The idea is out there. A seed of fear has been planted, and it's about to grow into something huge. And here's where you see just how fast things can go off the rails. Ralph has a perfectly logical idea. Build a huge signal fire so passing ships can see them. But the boys, riled up by Jack, just descend into chaos. They snatch Piggy's glasses to start the fire, and it explodes into an uncontrollable wildfire. In the confusion, that little boy who first mentioned the beast, he's just gone. Their first death isn't from some monster. It's from their own out-of-control excitement. Okay, next up, the lore of the hunt. Because after that fire disaster, the split between Ralph and Jack gets even deeper. The island is basically dividing into two camps with two very different goals. And the whole conflict really boils down to this. Ralph is playing the long game. He's all about building shelters, keeping the rescue fire going, thinking about the future. But Jack, he's becoming obsessed with hunting. And it's not just about getting food anymore. It's about the chase, the power, the blood. It's the pull of the wild against the need for a society. And this obsession leads to absolute heartbreak. A ship actually appears on the horizon. It's their ticket home. But the signal fire, it's out. Jack had pulled the boys watching it to go on a hunt. They come back cheering, carrying a dead pig, so proud of themselves, only to find out they've just thrown away their only chance of rescue. The anger and despair from Ralph is just devastating. The argument just explodes into violence. Jack punches Piggy right in the face, and his glasses go flying, shattering one of the lenses. And this is a massive deal. It's more than just a punch. It's a physical attack on Piggy, the voice of logic, and it's a symbolic attack on reason itself. Their ability to see clearly and to start fires is now literally broken. So with reason being shattered and fear taking over, that little nightmare about a beastie is about to get way too real. The irony here is just brutal. A sign from the adult world finally arrives, but it's a dead body. A fighter pilot from some battle high above gets shot down, and his corpse, tangled in its parachute, lands on the mountaintop. In the dark, when the wind blows, the body moves, like it's bowing. The twins, Sam and Eric, see it and run for their lives, totally convinced they've seen the beast. That vague fear now has a horrifying physical form. But while everyone else is panicking about this monster, the quiet, observant Simon comes up with an even more terrifying idea. He tries to explain it at a meeting. He thinks the beast isn't some animal they can hunt. He suggests that maybe the monster is inside of them. It's such a chilling thought that the other boys just can't or maybe won't accept it. And then Simon's terrible theory gets confirmed. Jack's hunters kill a pig and jam its head on a stake as an offering to the beast. Covered in flies, it becomes the Lord of the Flies. Simon, alone in the jungle, has this terrifying, feverish vision where the pig's head actually speaks to him. It taunts him, and it tells him flat out, "You knew, didn't you? I'm part of you. I'm the reason why it's no-go. The evil isn't out there, it's in them." Simon, realizing the thing on the mountain is just a dead pilot, now knows the truth. He has to tell the others. He runs down the mountain to free them from their fear, but he has no idea what he's running toward. He's running towards a group that's already given in to the very darkness he just identified. And this is the moment everything falls apart for good. Lured by the promise of roasted pig, almost all the boys have joined Jack's tribe. They start a ritual dance, chanting, "Kill the beast, cut his throat, spill his blood," over and over, whipping themselves into a terrified, savage mob. And right at the peak of this frenzy, poor Simon stumbles out of the trees, trying to tell them the truth. But they don't see Simon, they see the beast, and they kill him. They killed the only one who knew the truth. They've sacrificed their prophet. And in this incredibly sad, almost beautiful moment, nature itself seems to gently wash away the evidence of their crime, as Simon's body is carried out to sea. This was the point of no return. After that night, the lines are drawn. There's no going back. The last bits of their old life, of who they used to be, are about to be destroyed forever. Ralph is horrified, and he and Piggy try to convince themselves it was an accident, that they weren't really part of it. They're both completely traumatized. Meanwhile, Jack is now a full-blown tyrant. He rules from a fortress called Castle Rock. His face painted, and the boys around him are his tribe, a tribe held together by fear. One night, Jack's tribe raids Ralph's camp. Ralph assumes they're coming for the conch, the last symbol of his rightful leadership. But they don't even touch it. They came for something much more valuable now: Piggy's glasses. They steal the power to make fire, the last tool of technology and reason on the island, leaving Ralph's small group cold, blind, and totally helpless. And that's where we are. Order is gone. The truth has been murdered. Reason has been stolen. It all builds to this one final, chilling question that Golding leaves us with. Once you strip away all the rules and all the structures of society, what's really left inside of us?